Here we are. After 4 years, Eminem releases a new album. I have been very vocal about my opinions on Eminem on this channel already. I have ranked his albums from worst to best already. I'm not really ashamed to admit that I was not expecting much from this album at all when it was first announced. As everybody knows, and as everyone's well aware, M's catalog is a mixed bag of bangers, mediocre, from bangers to mediocrity to trash, His last three albums have been mediocre, and then there was Revival. So I can't say I was really expecting him to release a classic album, and I don't want to sit here and sound pretentious or sound like an asshole, but I didn't expect Eminem to be releasing anything other than what he's been releasing recently, and I'm talking about his last three albums, and that's been mid. Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By aren't garbage, but they're not good either. So I didn't really expect much from this album. I will say I did not expect to be as excited as I was when I heard it dropped. I said that I was going to be reviewing Purple Rain next, and I literally was going to be reviewing Purple Rain, and I was in the middle of making the review for Purple Rain. I literally have the script written down and everything. It's ready to go. It's in the gun. It's in the chamber. It's ready to go. Any moment I pull the trigger on it. And I will be soon. I will be releasing that review soon. It's just I got sick, so I kind of took a break from pretty much everything. And now that I'm better, I got back to working on the Purple Rain review, and then boom, the new Eminem album released at like 1 o'clock. So I listened to it, and when it released, and I was given word that it released, I didn't expect to be as excited as I was to go into the album, but I was. I was very excited to listen to a new Eminem album because I haven't listened to a new one for 4 years. It's been a long time. I was still playing fucking Modern Warfare 2019 when fucking Music to Be Murdered By came out. So, it was great to to visit a new Eminem album and pick it apart. And that being said, like I said, with the release of Houdini, not to say that the song was bad, I liked it enough, but it sounded like he was trying to channel his older self, and that is something that really kind of turned my head away from the album when it was released separately from the album. I really figured, okay, so this is going to be a Slim Shady LP too. That's what I took away from the song Houdini. But here I am with my expectations for this album being at an all-time low, and yet I found myself being really happy and pleasantly surprised by the quality of this album. I want to get into something real quick about the album before we, start actually talking about the songs and the quality of the album. I want to say that people are absolutely fucking overrating and underrating this album. Some people are acting like this is the worst album ever made. Some people are acting like this album just broke into their house and killed their entire family. That's how bad some people think this album is. It is not that bad. It is not Revival level bad. It is not garbage by any means necessary. There's some low points in this album. There's some high points in this album. It's an M album. That's what you're going to expect. Now, there's some people out there acting like this is one of his top tier fucking releases. I seen a post on YouTube yesterday saying that it was like a top 3 Eminem album, implying that it would be on the same level as something like Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show. It is not that good. It is nowhere near that level. Hell, I wouldn't even go so far to say that it's better than Marshall Mathers LP2 or better than Relapse. It's better than Relapse, but let's not compare it to the other M albums. I'm just saying people are absolutely delusional when it comes to rating this album here recently, and it's kind of crazy to see. But I've talked too much about everything but the actual quality. Let's get into it. Like I said, it's not a perfect album like any of M's albums, it's always got its ups and it's got its downs. And starting right off the bat with Renaissance, I consider it to be an up. It's definitely a great start to the album. It's the most Slim Shady sounding song on the album, if that makes any sense. It's a short song, 1 minute 38 seconds, nothing too crazy. The flow of the song is what really stands strong throughout the song. It really just brings out that old school Slim Shady vibe. It sounds like a song that came straight off the Slim Shady LP. That's what it sounds like, and that's not a diss. That's just what the song sounds like. It's really reminiscent of the old M. The beat is fine, and there's no chorus, thank God, because he still hasn't recovered since Encore, and that's, that is very relevant with the next song, Habits. The beat again isn't bad. Two back-to-back songs that don't have a terrible beat, good for him. The flow within the song is actually very catchy, and the Bushinner bars are funny, obviously. It's just the chorus. It's obnoxious. It's annoying. Like, he's been used to making these terrible fucking choruses for over 20 years now. It's not a good chorus. Like I said, this album really does sound like it came straight off the Slim Shady LP with a little bit of relapse sprinkled into it. And that doesn't save the choruses, but that does, bring me to my next point, Brand New Dance. This might be the biggest evidence of what I just said about it being a Slim Shady relapse type album. Um, I'm not using this as an insult either. The song is really catchy, has a great flow. It's got a nice pace. The instrumental is kind of elementary. But that's to be expected from a Slim Shady song. The chorus is terrible again. It's really annoying, like I said, and really doesn't have a good chorus. So the fucking sneeze was creeping up on me in the car. Hurry up and fucking end the goddamn fucking recording. But anyway, like I said, this album really lacks good choruses, and that's just to be expected from Eminem. I don't know what the fuck happened after the Eminem show. See, hell, the Eminem show and the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP didn't even have great choruses, but they weren't garbage. Just after the Eminem show, he just stopped giving a fuck about the choruses. He really did. So far, so good for the album. There hasn't been anything terrible yet, and following up Habits is the song Evil. This actually embodies every stereotype that everyone's ever said about Eminem. Him just being, angrily and annoyingly rhyming things together and not really making any sense. The beat is fine. It's fine enough. Interesting enough. Actually, that's been one of the major criticisms that I've given to Eminem, that really everyone's been giving to him for the past couple of years, for the past couple of albums rather. The flow and the beats just being unlistenable and, terrible. But on this album, thus far, it hasn't really been, relevant. The beats have been fine. On this song in particular, the flow is bad, but it's the chorus that really is awful on this song. The flow is, bad, but it's not unlistenable. The chorus is terrible. Honestly, this song "Evil" is reminiscent of another Eminem song that I can't really think of at the top of my head right now, but I can remember the sound of it. Back to back bad songs. Lucifer. This one isn't nearly as bad as "Evil." Thus far, "Evil" is the worst song on the album. So far. The chorus is worse, though. Really, really sounds like somebody singing in the damn church, and I get that's what he was going for, but it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good on the song. It's kind of obnoxious. The beat isn't bad, again, which is crazy. The flow on the song is choppy. Sounds like something off of Revival, honestly. I mean, there's some funny bars on here, like with its elevator being broke and having to walk a block to get a can of Coke. I mean, it was funny. The Debbie snack cake bar was funny, but the song itself really isn't listenable after that. We're not going back to back to back. We're not having a three-peat with a bad song because, Antichrist is actually really good. It almost sounds like something off of the Eminem show. The flow is nice. The beat really sounds like something off of the Eminem show, like I said, and that's the best compliment I could fucking give to any Eminem song, after the Eminem show. Because that's his best album, in my opinion. Um, The chorus is not saved though. It's still bad. It's the verses that are really the selling point of this song. It's got some funny moments, and it's got a replayable value. It's a very catchy song. It's got that fucking aggressive mannerisms that he had on the Eminem show. That's what makes this song really good. And so far, to me, this is the best song on the album so far. Um, it's like I said, the flows are good, which is more than half I could say. I could have said it for more than half of the songs on his last two albums. The features haven't really came in yet, and that changes with the song Fuel. I'll admit I've never really heard Jade or Jid. Sorry if I butchered the name. It's never really heard of him until this song. It's not a bad song. He's got a good feature. The flow can get a little repetitive and choppy sometimes, but it doesn't ruin the overall quality of the verse. The chorus, yet again, is bad, and that's not changing for a long time. M uses this kind of flow that's very reminiscent for the song Ringer, but not kind of on the level as Ringer. Bad as I mean, it's kind of a mid song. Nothing inherently bad about it. Nothing really stands out about the song. The chorus is bad, but that's to be expected from an Eminem song. But then again, there's nothing, like I said, inherently good about the song either. It's the definition of mid. Back to back features. Road Rage is worse than the last song. It really has a terrible chorus. This might be the worst chorus on the entire fucking album. The flow is kind of non-existent. The beat is actually bad now. We've got a lot of songs with a decent enough beat, but we got a little bit unlucky with this one. It was going to happen sooner or later. It's just kind of annoying. It kind of sounds like in the background. It sounds like Bender having sex with a fucking toaster, It sounds like Bender having sex with a printer in the background. That's what it sounds like to me. you know, it's not a garbage song. It's just not good either. The chorus is absolutely unlistenable. Eminem album has at least one song that's ridiculously popular and gets a lot of fucking play. That being Houdini. That's the song for this album. It's really popular. Like I said earlier, this song really does bite the style of Without Me. And this song is the song that made me worried for the album. I just thought that he was going to be cringily trying to tap into the Slim Shady's vibe. So I figured, like I said, okay, so this is going to be a Slim Shady LP too. That's just what I figured it was going to be. But the flow of the song is catchy. The beat isn't bad. The chorus isn't, it isn't unlistenable for once from Eminem. We need to give a round of fucking applause for that one. It's not great. It's not a masterpiece, but nothing. If it's if it's at least listenable, that's a big compliment for Eminem. The song is fine. It's not the best song on the album by any means necessary, but it's still a good song. Speaking of sequels, the song here's Guilty Conscience 2. It's almost like a song where Eminem and Slim Shady are having an argument. It's a funny song. It's got some funny moments. It's got some decent enough bars. There's not really a chorus, which is one of the best decisions Eminem can make. The beat itself isn't awful, but the overall listenable value to the song isn't bad. It's actually pretty listenable. It's a decent song. This is probably my favorite feature in the whole album. Head Honcho. It's got a great flow, and I can't understand the Spanish part, but hey, it's catchy. It's fucking catchy enough. The flow of the song is actually really good. The transition between verses is actually really smooth. M's verse is fine. It's got a good flow. It can get choppy at times. It can get a little choppy, especially near the end, but nothing too bad. It's got some nice bars. There's no chorus again. He should do this more often. The beat is fine. This is I want to talk about something real quick. The bar about revival. It still shows that he's hurt, that it didn't do good. I really want to talk about this for a second. I don't know if Eminem thinks Revival was a great album and it just wasn't understood by people and critics, and we're just too fucking stupid to understand the album or something, but I really hope that's not the case. I hope he's just, upset that the album did bad, that he released a bad album. I hope it's not the other way around, where he thinks the album was good, we were just too fucking stupid to get it, which I guess that's kind of confirmed in the song Ringer. But I don't understand what his fixation on Revival being a good album is. It's not. It was just a shitty album that he released, and he needs to take the responsibility of it being a bad album. Anyway, moving on to the best song on the entire album, easily Temporary. This song is actually fucking fire. This song had motherfuckers in tears, is from what I understand. It basically plays off the name of the album, Death of Some Shady. It's basically a song to his daughter for when he passes, and it's, some real heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching stuff. Well, it still maintains being a very catchy song all at the same time. I've always liked the Skylar Grey features. She's she can be a little bit heavily reliant on autotune, but that doesn't take away from the overall performance. The chorus, it's great. It's really great. She's a decent enough singer for the for the chorus rather, to be, catchable and vibable. I actually added this song to my playlist, one of the only songs from this album that I have in my playlist. The verses are very reminiscent from Mockingbird. It's a great song. Um, it's the high point of the album, in my opinion. The right after the high point, we have the low. Right out of nowhere, we have Bad Ones. Um, has a interesting flow. The Iron Man bars was actually pretty smooth. It can start off. The flow can get a little nice with the rhythm, but then it falls into this choppy flow that he's been very reliant on for a long time. The chorus is reminiscent of Zeus. I mean, it's got white gold on it, so it's obviously going to be. I mean, it's not an awful song, but it's not great either. I shouldn't say the song is terrible because it has some redeeming qualities, like, the beat, rhythm that it has tendencies to fall in with, So I don't know what I'd really rate this song. I wouldn't call it good, and I wouldn't call it necessarily bad either. It's really middle of the pack. Moving on to the best feature on the entire album, Toby. I said earlier that the other one might be my favorite my favorite feature, but after actually listening to Toby, I didn't actually listen to it when the song released outside of the album. I listened to it with the album when it dropped. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's got a great flow. The Toby Maguire bars are very much appreciated. The beat is simplistic but decent enough. There's not really a chorus. The overall flow of the song is what really carries the song. But that's not a diss, because it's a great fucking flow. It really moves decently. The flow is great. Somebody Save Me, another song that tugs on the heartstrings, and it's basically him rapping about his addiction and pretty much apologizing to his family. Another song where he kind of lazily samples a bit of another popular song and places it within his own. He has tendencies to do that. He's been doing that for a long time now. But I can give it a pass because it's a good song. It works well. I can give it a pass. I don't like it as much as I do Temporary, but it's still a great song. And it's a great way to cap off the album. All in all, this is a major step up from the last three albums. I don't care what anybody says saying this album is trash. It's not. It's not a trash album. It's really not. It's got some moments where it's got bad songs. Every Eminem album does. There isn't really any song though. This is the biggest compliment I can give this album. Within this album, there isn't a single song that is garbage. That's like unlistenable. Even Evil, which I think is the worst song on the album, isn't horrible. It's not a good song, but it's not horrible either. That's the biggest compliment I can give it. I fully expect, I wager that this is Eminem's last album. And if that's the case, it's a great send off, because I would give this album a solid 7 out of 10. It's not a masterpiece. It's not something that's going to throw you backwards out of your seat and make you do cartwheels, but it's still a decent listen, and it has some great songs, and I definitely recommend it to anybody that hasn't listened to it already. Like I said, Temporary is the best song on the album, and my expectations were exceeded within the release of this album, and I am pleasantly surprised with the quality that I was given of this album. And that's it. I still don't know how to end videos.